96.3 WHUR sounds like Washington, the Frank Ski Show with Nina Brown. The world is now reacting. Breonna Taylor's family is expected to speak at any moment. Everyone is saying the grand jury result is outrageous and even offensive. On the phone with us right now, we have Richard Bell, the attorney who has been practicing law for more than 30 years. He served on the DNC National Lawyer Council, the Minority Voting Rights Committee, and more. He is on the phone with us right now. Attorney Bell, how are you?
I'm not so well like the rest of us. Very, very disappointed at what just happened.
You've been a legal analyst and commentator in areas of civil rights for a very long time. Police reform, liability issues. You've been on CBS News, CNBC, San Francisco Chronicle, ABC News, Business Insider. This is really big. How does this stack up to what we've been seeing going on around the country? Is this just outrageously disrespectful, or is it just in line with what has been going on?
It's both. It's both outrageous and a continuation of what we've seen. And, you know, when you, as you said in the introduction, that basically no one was charged with the killing of Breonna Taylor. The charge of wanton endangerment, it's basically extreme indifference to human life with substantial danger of death or serious injury. They're talking about shooting randomly into the apartments, and I haven't had a chance to read the indictment. I've read some reports that say it's actually shooting into the other apartments. I have to check that out because I haven't been able to read the indictment myself yet. But it's so far beyond disappointing, and while it's expected, we always hope that the next time we'll see some justice.
Right.
This is very poor.
You know, I have to tell you, not being an attorney that deals with this, it's very upsetting, and I'm wondering myself how, as I heard the Attorney General speak, basically he was saying that they had an order to be there, and that when they knocked the door down and saw a gun pointed at them, they had the right to defend themselves, which makes them not eligible for any of the criminal charges. And everybody's just like, well, how does that happen when you're in the wrong house?
Okay.
We're also in the wrong state. Obviously, I don't know Kentucky law, but when the Attorney General says that that's the law of Kentucky and it's all okay, we have something really wrong in our country that we've known for hundreds of years, obviously. But I think right now, where we are 6 weeks out from an election, I mean, we have to get more mobilized than ever, because the only way we're ever going to make structural, fundamental changes is by voting and getting the people in there to change these laws, because they are really awful at this stage.
Attorney Bell, I have a question for you. Considering that Hankinson didn't get a murder charge, what do you think from your professional experience? Like, how much time do you think? Let's fast forward. Like, how much time do you think he would actually receive for a charge like endangerment?
Well, my understanding on the Kentucky law, like I said, I'm in New York City, not a Kentucky lawyer, but from the news reports, it was reported that it's a max of 5 years on each of the three charges. But the man was let out. This is what I read was just incredible. $15,000 bond.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Breonna Taylor is no longer with us. $15,000 bond. It's just outrageous.
You've been pushing that basically the only way to change this is to get out here and vote. And many people are saying that we've heard from people who have said, you know what, we voted before. We've tried voting before. We put Barack Obama in before. None of this is changing. What do you say to those people?
What I say to those people is you got to go from rage to engage, because protests and marching and rage are all necessary, 100%. But if you don't take that rage and vote, then you're never going to get policies and you're never going to get changes. And I know the frustration is that it's always incremental and it's always the next time we'll get what we want. It is a continuum. It's 400 years of a continuum. It's completely unfair. It is completely outrageous. But we can't turn back because we know that the only way things are going to change is if policy change and if law changes. And it's a slow process. I'm not going to misrepresent that to you and your audience. It's a slow process. But if you don't do the right thing by coming out and vote, look who's going to be in charge. William Barr, Donald Trump. Is that who you want in charge? That's what I say to those people.
Attorney Bell, there was a lot of talk about the family settling for the $12 million. And I mean, obviously, we've never been through what Breonna Taylor's family has been through. But to the people who feel like they settled for a low amount, from your legal experience, like walk us through that. Like, do you think that was as good as it got for them and they had no other choice? Like, how does that work?
Sure. So I do civil rights actions, and put it in perspective, it's approximately, from reporting, double the money that the Eric Garner family got. So in terms of an amount, yes, relative to these kinds of cases, it was an excellent job by the attorneys. The money is not to in any way replace Breonna Taylor or to console the family. It's more of a statement of how outrageous this was, and that the city obviously believed that this was not a case they were going to win and they were going to get slammed on one day. So for the family to accept the settlement, what was excellent about the settlement and extremely rare, part of the stipulation was getting certain reforms in the law in Kentucky. So that was excellent. That's extremely rare that they would agree to that in a settlement.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just a little bit still confused at it all. And, unfortunately, I guess in this particular case, it would have made such a big difference if the officers had had body camera, huh?
Oh, yes. These reforms that are in a lot of places where you have the body cams and you have police procedures. It never makes things perfect. But boy, oh boy, why did it take all this time and before there was a public consciousness? Because we didn't have a video. And you know what? I do these cases, and it's rare to have the video. So when you have the video, obviously it raises a public consciousness and outrage. And in this case, you didn't have it. So this kind of just leaked out slowly, didn't it?
All right. Well, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for all the work you've done and checking in with us. We've been speaking with Attorney Richard Bell. Thank you so much for calling us, Attorney Bell. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. And please vote. Everybody has to get out and vote.
Amen
Absolutely.
for that. 96.3 WHUR sounds like Washington.